Hey, this is Pro X Carpet Cleaning in Oklahoma City. Today I'm going to show you what to do if you come across a pee spot on your carpet. Now this one's simulated. It's kind of hard to see, but it's wet right there. You'll use the same process, whether it's dog, cat, or person, frankly. So the very first thing you need to do, seems obvious, but you need to blot up as much of the moisture as you can. Just get you a towel. I'd probably use a towel versus paper towels because this will absorb more, and you can just toss it in the washer, whereas you can't toss the carpet in the washer. So get a towel and set it on top of your spot. And now relax, this is just water. I'm just doing it to trigger someone. You're gonna blot it up, put your weight on the towel to soak up as much of the moisture as you can. Once you get as much as you can there, flip it over a little bit and do it a little bit more. Put all your weight on it. You wanna get as much moisture up as you can because you want that moisture to stay out of the pad especially. So now we've soaked up the moisture, so let's look at the next step. So even though the moisture's come up, and in this case, we really can't see anything anymore. If you have lighter colored carpet, you'd probably still see yellowing where the spot was. But let's just assume that it turned out okay, and it doesn't look like anything's there. You still want to sanitize that area or possibly deodorize it. So if you want to get rid of the yellowing, here's your pro tip. Hydrogen peroxide. This is a miracle liquid, and this is very simple. All you're gonna do, I'll do it in just a sec. You're gonna pour some peroxide on the spot, and most likely it's gonna get rid of the yellowing instantly, but it might take a couple of treatments if it doesn't. Or if it doesn't get rid of it, you might have a different problem. But anyway, you're gonna get some hydrogen peroxide, and you're going to treat that area. The good thing about this is it won't leave a residue. So if you leave some behind, it won't attract dirt. It'll just sit there. It'll get rid of the yellowing. It'll sanitize it. You have another towel, fresh towel, and you're going to blot it yet again. Now this is the most important thing I'm going to say right here. When you're putting anything on this stain, when you're doing anything to it, you don't want to rub. And here's why. If you get really close, the fiber looks like it's solid, but it actually looks like this under a microscope. It has a bunch of holes in it. It's porous, very porous. So if you have yellowing, or let's just say, just for argument's sake, it's something red. If you have a red stain and you scrub it, what's gonna happen is you're gonna force that dye into those cavities of your fiber. It's gonna look like this. So you're gonna stain the carpet, and you can't get this out. Once it's into those little pores, it's nearly impossible to take out. So that's why you might come across some carpet spots that are permanent, because some sort of dye got into the porous strands, the porous fibers in the carpet, and now it's just not gonna come out unless you bleach the entire thing. So don't do that, don't scrub, because you will end up doing this to your fiber. Whereas if you blot it, it probably won't get forced into these little porous cavities. So the urine might be sitting right here, the coloring might be sitting right here, and it won't get pushed into these pores if you just simply blot it. So we've put down the peroxide. We're gonna blot it. We're not rubbing, okay? So hopefully by this point, you've gotten rid of the liquid, you've gotten rid of the yellowing, and you may still be concerned about odor, let's just say. So I'll show you what to do for odor. Before moving on to the next step, make sure that the peroxide is completely dry, either by blotting it up or by letting it air dry. It needs to be completely dry before you move on to the next step. Otherwise, applying the next chemical to it could create an acidic solution. So make sure it's completely dry before you move on. One thing that will work really well, and again, won't leave any kind of residue, is some white vinegar. You can use this cleaning vinegar or distilled white vinegar. Take a little bit of that, pour it over the affected area. If it's a big dog stain, if it's a big dog that put down a lot of volume, you might need to put a pretty decent volume of this so it can penetrate down to the pad just like their urine did. So the idea is if your dog peed 1 cup of urine, you're gonna need 1 cup of vinegar to offset it, or any deodorizer you choose. But this will work really well, and most people will have some sort of vinegar in their house. So I've applied some vinegar. At this point, you could just take a little bit of the excess off and let it air dry. You don't need to pull up all this vinegar. It can sit there. The only caution I'd give you is if you have natural stone floors near this carpet, don't get the vinegar on the natural stone floors. But anyway, so this vinegar should work to deodorize it. You've pulled up the liquid, you've gotten rid of the yellowing using peroxide, and you've gotten rid of the odor using the vinegar. So at this point, once this dries, it'll be good as new. You won't have a problem with lingering odor or stains, and you haven't ground any kind of dyes into the carpet fiber. So I hope this helps. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more like this, subscribe and like the video.